since they talk say na rape, make the kukuma report me to police now. Make police can't do the investigation better because now their work to even do the investigation in the first place. Yeah, I don't know how the place they operate now. I don't work there for 7 years. So I know how they operate for there.
This is what the letter says. Response to the news of the dismissed former staff of DCA, Mr. Daniel Igoche Ada, on the alleged wrongful dismissal over the case of molestation of a minor student. Okay, so right now, it's not students like they were saying. Remember I told you guys he was talking about girls, and even right on his interview with Pararan Mock News, he also made that pointer as well, because he talked about they said girls and now they narrowed it down to one girl. Okay, so we are going to talk about that as we go on. So he said here, our attention has been drawn to the news making rounds on social media about a certain Mr. Daniel Igoche Ada, sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, a former staff of Destiny Christian Academy, a faith-based school where he worked as a teacher and patron. So it was not a lie that he was a patron in the school. Do you know what it takes for someone to get to that point of becoming a patron in a school? Like, it takes a whole lot. That means every other person kind of like looks up to you when it comes to the image of the school, or would I say certain things are being done in the school. I think to a good extent you are even being consulted or something, you understand, as a patron of the school. So of course he has invested about 7 years of his life in the school. But let's go on right here. So we strongly advise the public not to be hasty in drawing conclusions on matters that had not been decided. Okay, for me, every other person talked about this. I was just waiting to get a response, because I don't just jump into things myself as a creator. So they now said here, we can't be lured by social media pressure in the court of public opinion into speaking on a matter that is currently being handled by civil and judicial authorities, some of which he initiated himself. So some of these allegations, they claim that he was the one that initiated it himself. But we are going to be looking at a couple of comments that this young man himself made when he was live, when he was interviewed live. Yet, let everybody remain calm, as in no distant time from now, the truth will be made bare. However, please note that the said apartment he lives in is not an official quarters of the DCA, his former employer. Okay, so that means he's still living there, because what they're trying to make you understand something here. But it's a ministry's property under construction and improvement, where he lived and had never paid a dime for years. So now when it comes about these years, he's worked there for 7 years, but from interviews he's lived there for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so while in the apartment he received his full salary with housing allowance while he was a staff, even though he wasn't entitled to an accommodation within the premises. So I think the church did a good thing here, okay, because for him to be a patron, him being fundamental to starting the secondary arm of the school. So maybe the school has been in existence for a long time, but him, you know, his pedigree and all that being used, or what I say, helped in starting the secondary arm of the school, maybe made him important enough for him to be, you know, put to live, you know, maybe close to the school or something, or given an official apartment or something, which is more of like, would I say, a benefit or a bonus that comes with, you know, his line of work or something. Okay, so they're just trying to make us understand right here that officially he's not entitled to that, but he was still given housing allowance despite staying there. So I think the church did a good thing there. I think we should just give them a slack there. That was a good, would I say, bonus for him as a person. But going on here, they now say routine improvements to maintenance is not subject to his authorization or permission, but as the property experts deem fit per time. So even though, because right now it might be looking like cutting the light and cutting the water, other things that were done, which looks more of like a form of intimidation, which is something recent that happened according to the man's live interview. It's not as if it was targeted at him to maybe intimidate him or something, but it's more of like a routine maintenance as they have put it right here. So of course it's not his house, so he cannot decide what happens there. What you see is what you get. So renovation of the facility is ongoing, and the notice will be served to other residents to vacate to enable the conclusion of the work. Okay, so right now, of course, I think this might, the last part here, more of like, it looks more of like the others will be vacated. So maybe because of him, if I'm seeing this to be more of like a way of intimidating him, it might just rub off on every other person. So every other person, not just him, is going to leave the apartment, because if you want to single his apartment out for renovation and all that, for them to play to the narrative of this particular post they have made, every other person is going to be touched by this. Okay, so I just hope other persons living there understand that this is routine maintenance and you're not just staying here for free, but you can be kicked out at any time, you understand. But let's not look at that for the main time. Looking at this live interview that he had with Pararan Mock News, I sat down to listen to all of them. If you want to listen to it, you can go back to his channel and listen to it. But I'm going to play snippets of what I noticed on that live interview as I get to discuss. Now, the main person now they have said is the one that he molested or something. Note here, as they were doing the investigation, the said girl was invited and then asked the questions. And according to what he said, listen to him right here.
This time around, they no caught us saying plenty girls again. No, they caught us saying only one girl. And as they thought saying only one girl, they caught us saying rape. Now rape the girl. Oh. So then they can't carry the girl, mama come, make they can't talk their own matter now. Make they can't talk with happen. As we did here, the girl can't talk say, me and hug her 7 times. Yes. You understand? Yes. Say I hug her 7 times. As the girl they talk, now the school people now they come they join mouth for the girl, come they tell the girl say, you know, can't talk say. He touch your breast again. You no come talk say he touch your bonbon again. And so they come they join out for the girl they talk. Oh.
So you could see right now that it looks, based on his narration, that this is not just an attack on him from, let's say, the management. This is something that is coming from within. But the fact is that he is someone that is on the level of being a patron. Why would the staffs of the school be all teaming up and then, would I say, pushing the girl to say something she maybe doesn't want to say, or something that is not true about him? Okay, the man himself did not argue or disagree that he hugged her. Okay, so he said that they say I hugged her 7 times. 7 times at a go, or 7 times today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, next tomorrow. Was there any form of like intent for him to do something that he didn't do? And if they're saying that he hugged her, which he has not said, okay, I didn't hug her, based on the live interview, I think Pararan didn't ask him that question, you touch him or something. Maybe I didn't hear that part. Okay, so when it now comes to that, now you could see from the response of those themselves who are teachers in the same school, it's more of like they have sat down to, because even when I was reading the comments under this post on Facebook, people were saying every devil, every demon that is working against to bring the church down, blah blah blah, you understand? So maybe all these teachers, and the way he was even sounding, he was saying like the school, I don't think to a good extent he is that really deep into this whole the church like that. Maybe except I'm mistaken, like, you know, really part of the church like that, to the point, because there's a way you could actually be not like a slave, but there's a way you could be so much in love with your church or something that whatever your men of God say, yes sir, yes ma, even though I could still see those elements of respect, loyalty, even in everything he was doing. He wasn't like really being antagonistic that way you would expect from someone that you say is totally an outsider that is just walking there, you understand? So there's a little bit of balance when I was watching his interview with Pararan as he was talking. So on that part, you could see that the teachers themselves, like, there is already a decision, or would I say already a meeting held for him already in that school, you understand, to make sure that everything goes according to the plan of the school to just maybe get him off. So for a fact, he's not going to be working there anymore. they won't just reinstate him after all of this, okay? So two things are involved. Either he gets damages of some sort to go, or maybe the school would have to clear his name that he didn't do any of those things, and maybe he can get to move on. But I just hope, because sometimes the way these people work, I just hope if he's moving on to other school to teach, all this, you know, there's this church mentality that goes on a whole lot in Nigeria, that people will say, oh, this teacher that came from this school that your news went everywhere, so that you will not come to my school and then start wahala for us, I beg. So already there's a stigma around him, but even as such, I think the best thing would be for him to be vindicated of molesting a child or children if he didn't do that particular thing.
We get two cases for court. One for defamation of character because of my name with the spoil. And then the other one, I say they sacked me unlawfully.
Yes.
So that one called there for industrial court. Now the steps why I take be that after they sack me.
You understand? But moving on, I now got to see some elements again when he was talking about his children getting scholarships from the school, which I think is amazing, okay? But again, on a second thought, listen to this video.
Your children get scholarship for the school. Not truth.
And that one are true now.
So why they come? So say them chase them. Go pay.
And so, as the papa can't get trouble with them, and so the counter say they get they pay school fees. So, and they come pursue the girl from school. Very brilliant girl. This girl, what they tell you, the girl sabi book where. Small girl of 7 years. And so the counter say me she no come again. No, now they chase her from school. Already, we don't prepare the small brother way before years. Make that one man can go join her for the school. We don't already they buy form, they do everything. We carry that one, join her for the school. And as that one they start new, we don't gather money, small money where we go say, okay, make we use the pay for that one. Because we don't know whether that one might go come sabi book like his sister made a call give scholarship too.
Okay. So the scholarship before now, which page now go expire?
And they don't give us year where go expire. Normally, where they give scholarships, so as long as they get there for the school, the scholarship go they work for her.
You see that, in my opinion, I think that the children didn't just get scholarship automatically. They have to earn it maybe from their educational prowess, or would I say their intelligence, their performance. So you get to earn the scholarship. But for the daughter to lose a scholarship just like that without any prior notice, of course, for her to have gotten the scholarship also, she was not told, according to him, that the scholarship is going to be from this time to this time to this time. So maybe based on all of these two, you know, it has cost him the daughter's scholarship, which he now has to start paying school fees again. Now we are not going to go and start discussing how much is he paid, how much is he earning, how is he able to manage the family, manage the children and all that. Because if you heard him also, he was saying that he hoped that the boy was going to be, you know, as intelligent as a sister, and maybe also get to earn a scholarship. So this one, you have to earn it. But the daughter losing the scholarship might look like, you understand, just a way to, you know, kind of like intimidate him or something. Then he went further to talk about a whole couple of things with this particular bodyguard that is as if he's carrying all the matter on his head. Now, was the bodyguard himself sent to be doing this to him because maybe he's still staying in that same premises? When he talked about the night where the 𝚤𝚤 themselves came, sent by this bodyguard, and they wanted to speak to 𝐲𝐨𝐻 alone, I think it was wisdom for him to want the family to be there, because who knows if they want to come and abduct him or something. It is possible. You understand? So for someone that is the bodyguard, feeling that his life is being threatened by someone that I would say, okay, a civilian, anyway, but so, let's say a lay person, it doesn't really make sense, because you're a bodyguard. I think you are trained, you are a security, whatever. So you are macho. Let me assume you are macho. And you taking him to the police and intimidating him that he's threatening your life, if you look at this logically, who do you think is going to be more of like a threat to the other? You being a security personnel who is trained or something, and then you just being a family man on your own. Except maybe this man looks more muscular or maybe looks fearsome compared to the bodyguard, then I would say, okay, maybe he felt afraid. But that means you yourself, you are not even fit to become a bodyguard of someone that is as high profile of Dr. Paul and Becky Eneche. Of course, you are not fit because anybody can just come and do you, hey, you dey craze one area, one loyal, you won't call it. You won't call it. You go fear, you go leave or go run. I don't know if you are getting it. So there might be, to a good extent, plots and tweets here to actually get him to, you understand, succumb to whatever it is that is going on right now. But like it is said right now, the issue is still in court. But I think, like I have been saying consistently from the beginning, if they want this man to keep quiet and move on, you have said with your mouth that there is a CCTV footage covering this particular thing. All you have to do is show him this particular footage of what you have of him molesting a child, and then that particular footage is gonna even make him keep quiet and lose all of this thing. Because what is the gain? If you are imagine you being a rich man billionaire, you are taking a poor man to court. It is even more wickedness that you are expecting that poor man himself to get to pay you. Think about it. There are a lot of terms to this particular thing, like someone that is not capable and you are taking the person to court. So let's assume they have a footage. Let's respect the school, let's respect the church. Let's assume what they are saying, because it's going to be them blatantly lying to the public and lying to this man that they have a footage of him doing something that he didn't do. So let's assume they have the footage. Truthful, Christian school, right? Okay. And they are holding on this footage just for this man to drag this all along, and then they will come and disgrace and embarrass him. What is the gain there? Number one, you have dragged your school, you have dragged your church into these public social media conversations, and in the end, what have you gained from it? Disrepute to your school being in discussion, except this is something you just want to use to make your school trend. But in the end, if it comes out that you have nothing and you are falsely accusing this man, then it's a whole big game entirely. Because of course, who is the man? He has the only voice the man would have to maybe bring public attention or social awareness may be creators that are talking about this, like me and the rest of us right here, making people aware. So right now, it's now beginning to push buttons. But has it been the man was just quiet and trying to go through this with the school or something? Oh, come on. The story might never come out.
Begin to send text message to her. I send message for another 1 week before she can reply me. Come talk say she no even hear what happen or say, but na very unfortunate thing that happen, because then tell her say they see me for camera and then get plenty video where show say I did molest the girls for the school. So she no go fit do anything for me. Okay. So as it can't be like that, me, I don't talk say, okay, make I pack my load, they go, because they don't sack me now. Before I know, one parent of the school don't carry phone, don't call me, say, why me I go dey rape girls for school now? I can say, rape? He can say yes. Say, you get one teacher for the school where tell her, say, na rape, now I rape the student. I can say, I beg, now which teacher they tell you this kind of thing? He can't call the teacher name for me. He can't be say, now that very teacher. Now he first go report me, say, I dey molest student. So I can't say, okay, I know how that woman they behave. Make she no worry. Say, no be waiting happen be that. Now so me and the parents can't talk. So before I go know what they happen again, they don't send message from the school to all the parents. They send disclaimer. Can't tell the parents, say, may they know they follow me talk again. Say, because they don't sack me from the school, so may they no follow me talk again. So as it can't reach like that, I say, no, this one don't pass, be careful, oh. Because I work here 7 years. I work well. I use my church mind, work for that place.
So imagine other people that might have gone through things like this, but because of, oh, let me respect Papa, let me respect the church and this and that, they keep quiet and let things slide. So you might be in a church, you might be not just church. Let's take away the church outside of this. You could be in an organization or something where you feel that you are not being treated right or something. Sometimes you just have to speak up. That's why there are maybe human rights organizations, this and that, to also help you get your voice heard. Because if not, people will keep on being intimidated and the country itself will not be moving forward. And worse still, this is starting from the church. It's happening from the church. So there are a couple of things I noticed in that particular interview that he had with Pararan, and I began to understand that this is a lot bigger than what it is we are looking at, because the man himself has really gone through a lot. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments. I think this will be the last for it, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye bye.
Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun o. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun púpọ̀. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun o. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun púpọ̀. Ó jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró mi, wọ́n ti mọ̀ sí ẹ̀gún. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun o. Ọlọ́run o. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun o. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun púpọ̀. Ó jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró mi, wọ́n ti mọ̀ sí ẹ̀gún. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun o. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun o. Ẹ ṣeun púpọ̀. Ó jẹ́ ènìyàn ló dúró mi, wọ́n ti mọ̀ ṣe é kó. Onídúró mi ẹ ṣeun.